It's time for the Matt Lecroy Show on Fox Sports 1460. Brought to you by the Holiday Inn Middletown. Now with today's show, here's Terry Byrom.
Matt, last night you faced Chance Adams with the Trenton Thunder. 7-0 here, 5-0 in High A, and he had another solid ball game.
Yeah, we were a tad bit overmatched. He did a nice job. A lot of soft contact on our part, but you could tip your cap. He's got good stuff. He mixes in his off speed, but he's got a real good arm, and Mapes did a nice job keeping us in it. We just couldn't generate no offense.
Yeah, as for Tyler Mapes, he's had a couple of those games this year where he doesn't have his best stuff, but somehow he leaves a lot of guys on base, ends up going 6 innings and allowing just 1 run and kept you in the game.
Yeah, he was done after 6, and I mean he did whatever he could. We didn't make a play at first that cost him a run, but he did a nice job. He dealt with traffic pretty much the whole night, and he gave us a chance. But they just did a nice job pitching.
And then late in the game, Robert Benincasa came in and gave up a 2-run home run, and that really seemed to take the steam out of you guys.
Yeah, I mean that was he threw a 3-1 changeup, and put himself behind the 8 ball when you face the next guy. I mean, the next guy to me is more dangerous, and he made us pay, and that's the thing that you got to learn. You got to go after the guys you need to get first, and then he pitched around the wrong guy, and it burned us. So, and 3 runs against this team, being down 3 runs against this team is a tough deficit to overcome. So hopefully we'll come out today and be better.
Last night in Washington, the news came out yesterday, and then he got in the game. But a player that had been here off and on, I think 3 years, Brian Goodwin, and certainly, it's one of those things that makes me feel really good to see him down there. I know how hard he worked here, and I wasn't sure it was ever going to come to fruition for him to get to the big leagues, and here he is.
Yeah, I had him a little bit in 12 and 13 here in Harrisburg, and I'm sure I think he came back here again in 14 maybe, but, he battled. I mean, he was a raw baseball player that really had to fight through the minor leagues, and, he had to go to instruction leagues and the fall leagues and do all that stuff, and it's finally started to click for him. He went to winter ball this offseason, did a really nice job, and then came into spring training. You could tell he was a different player, and then his AAA numbers were really good, and I'm just happy for him. You see a guy who grinded it out for a couple of years, and his back was kind of against the wall, and he's done a nice job and well-deserved promotion.
Another guy that had been in the Nationals organization and was a part of a trade, I think 2 years ago now. I don't remember. Yeah, I think 2 years ago. Tony Renda has made his way to the big leagues as well with the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you see a guy that we've had in an organization that goes up, that's a good moment for us, especially get people who are in player development, because we know how hard these kids work, and anytime they reach that goal of getting to the big leagues, we just hopefully they stay healthy and have an ability to stay.
You have to be, and you just mentioned being in the player development, you have to be happy just sitting back and watching over the years, and you were in the bullpen as a bullpen coach the last 2 years with the Nationals, so you saw it firsthand. All of the players that are drafted or signed originally as non-drafted free agents by the Nationals, all of the players that make their way through the farm system and get into the big leagues.
Yeah, I mean, being part of player development and seeing guys go up the years we won in 12 and 13 at the big league level, and then when I was promoted to be the bullpen coach, to see all those kids come up that I've had here in the Eastern League or in Hagerstown or Potomac to come up and make an impact on our club at the big league level is a good moment not only for me but for everybody down here that works. These kids, they work extremely hard, and the chances of them making are very slim anyway, but when you see them come up and the way they play and the way they go about their business, it's a good moment for us because we know that all the hard work that we're doing and they're doing is paying off.
And it's a lot like having kids. Not all kids, if you're a parent, you have 2 or 3 kids, they all don't develop the same way, and sometimes it takes some of these players longer to get to the point that they really reach their ceiling than other guys. There's another player that you had for quite a long time, Sandy Leone, who's finally figured it all out, and he's had a great season with the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, he's Sandy was a hard-working Latin kid who couldn't speak English when he came over here, worked extremely hard to learn English, But his work ethic, I mean, he was here every day early, trying to get better defensively and offensively, and it's taken a while. He's had his chance with us in Washington, broke his leg, and then he got let go, and Boston picked him up, put him in AAA, and now he's up there really helping them a lot, being a big impact player. So, all those moments, I mean, those kids that go up and they make it, it makes you happy, and I kind of relate it to the first time I ever got called to the big leagues. That moment, man, you can't describe it. And see those kids doing well, just icing on the cake.